Joining me now is Republican presidential candidate Carly Fiorina, who's taken a hard line against Planned Parenthood's abortion practices. Ms. Fiorina, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Same to you. Your reaction to the shootings at that clinic in Colorado Springs?
Well, this is a tragedy. It's obviously a tragedy. Nothing justifies this. And presumably this man, who appears deranged, if nothing else, will be tried for murder, as he should be. But it's a tragedy, especially on a holiday weekend.
You have been one of the toughest critics, as we've said, of Planned Parenthood's alleged harvesting of body parts, selling them for fetal research. Some of the pro-choice advocates are saying language like yours, not specifically singling you out, but language like yours has incited violence. I'd like to get your reaction to that, but also, what is it that you would say to protesters, people outside these clinics, about the limits of their opposition?
Well, first, it is not alleged. Planned Parenthood acknowledged several weeks ago that they would no longer take compensation for body parts, which sounds like an admission that they were doing so. Secondly, this is so typical of the left to immediately begin demonizing a messenger because they don't agree with the message. The vast majority of Americans agree. What Planned Parenthood is doing is wrong. And that's why the vast majority of Americans are prepared not only to defund Planned Parenthood, but also to stop abortion for any reason at all after 5 months. So what I would say to anyone who tries to link this terrible tragedy to anyone who opposes abortion or opposes the sale of body parts is this is typical left-wing tactics.
And what would you say to the protesters, the people that are outside the clinics and opposing?
Well, any protesters should always be peaceful, whether it's Black Lives Matter or pro-life protesters. Protesters should always be peaceful and respectful.
Let me turn subjects on you. President Obama is on his way to Paris today for a climate change summit, and this week he linked that to the war on terror. Take a look.
What a powerful rebuke to the terrorists it will be when the world stands as one and shows that we will not be deterred from building a better future for our children.
Your reaction to the summit and to the contention by some in the Obama administration that climate change is, if not the biggest, certainly the most immediate threat to our national security?
Well, that's delusional. It is delusional for President Obama and Hillary Clinton and anyone else to say that climate change is our near-term most severe security threat. It is ISIS, period, followed closely by Iran and perhaps Russia. President Obama continues to think that somehow our behavior causes terrorism. So he says the climate change summit is a powerful rebuke. No, it's not. The terrorists don't care that we're gathering in Paris, other than it provides a target. Just as he said, well, Republicans are giving terrorists a recruiting tool, and we don't think Syrian refugees should be allowed to enter this country if we cannot properly vet them. President Obama is delusional about this. He's delusional about the threat, which apparently is why he won't do anything about it.
Do you think it's worthwhile for him to go to Paris, to go to this international summit and try to work out emissions limits?
Well, look, if you read the fine print of the science, what the scientists tell us, all those scientists who say climate change is real and man-made, they also tell us that a single nation acting alone can make no difference at all, that it will take a concerted global effort over 30 years, costing trillions of dollars. I think the likelihood of that is near zero. So no, I don't think it's particularly productive. I think it would be far more productive if President Obama instead was there leading an international coalition to stop human trafficking, or an international coalition for humanitarian relief for the refugees, or an international coalition to defeat ISIS. All of those things would be more useful than time in Paris spent talking about climate change.